That is the worst start imaginable for Unai Emery and Aston Villa for the 23-24 season. I've been really looking forward to seeing Aston Villa get their season underway with them having European football to play, as well as, hopefully an ambitious league campaign. Maybe something goes on in the Cups with Monchi in the sporting director position or whatever it is, and all the transfer business that's been going on. Aston Villa are definitely one of those teams that are, grabbing the headlines and capturing the imagination in this summer transfer window that we've been going through, but I don't think anyone suspected a 5-1 mauling at the hands of Newcastle in the opening day. Now, it wasn't one-way traffic. There was definitely some good stuff for Aston Villa that we'll get to in the video today, but I hope that Aston Villa can really bounce from this, and hopefully they can get the final pieces that they need to make sure that, the ship doesn't sink before the season starts, as it were. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers and we can't do that without your support. So if you do enjoy the stuff here, please do like and subscribe and drop a comment down below. What am I getting wrong or what am I getting right? You can tell me. And have your say, obviously, on what we're talking about in the video. And let's just get stuck into it. Now, the team pretty much picked itself again with Buendia being injured and new signing Moussa Diaby in the house. Maybe the only surprise was Leon Bailley coming in, but I think with Buendia being out, maybe it wasn't too much of a surprise. But overall, the match started really tight and, the goals went, it wasn't, as I say, 5-1 wasn't a real reflection on the game itself. Aston Villa were very much in this for a long time. We've seen a debutant goal, of course, from Diaby, but I think what really did surprise me and many other kind of neutrals, as it were, in this situation was that it was Bailley out here and how attacking that this team actually became when they transitioned the ball. Now, Douglas Luiz and Camara, very prominent in and around these central situations again, and the range of passing between the two of them was very evident whenever Aston Villa were able to build up and play. Now, this was the first time for me really paying attention to Ezri Konsa, and I think he did okay for little bits of it, but overall I was just not impressed. And Cash, I do think he's got a bit of a ceiling on the go as well. But the midfield of Camara, Douglas Luiz, I don't think McGinn had much of a presence, but he was kind of everywhere trying to get involved in the match somehow, some way, but I don't think he was really at it. Didn't really have much of an impact in this match, but he was meant to be on this kind of left forward, left mid position covering in, and with Newcastle playing this kind of 888 thing, check out the Newcastle video I did the other day if you want to know what I'm talking about. Aston Villa have to deal with that in transition when Newcastle are coming on an attack. When Joe Linton, Guimarães, Tonali are all raiding into your defensive zone, you need man markers to come with them for midfield. And if John McGinn's supposed to be in this kind of left midfield position, he also has fullbacks and wingers to be thinking about leaving out here with Lucas Digne or, Watkins perhaps or whatever. So I don't envy him. He had a really difficult job, bit of a suicide mission on that left midfield against Newcastle. But I say it was surprising just how attacking it went. As soon as Bailley transitioned with the ball, it basically became a front three. And Ollie Watkins, Diaby and Bailley, for me, in transition, killing teams in pace with space to run into, is a very formidable outfit. And, we've seen the good and the bad of Diaby. I think his goal was the good of Diaby. And then that chance he had where he got into this zone here and he fired it towards the near post rather than anything else. That's, if you ever heard anyone saying that Moussa Diaby was maybe an overpay, then there's those kind of elements in his game you worry about, but still a lot of promise and buckets of talent to go on. But Leon Bailley seems to get a second lease of life playing with his old pal from Leverkusen, so that's got some good synergy with it already. And Ollie Watkins, I think, is a dream striker to play in this situation, and I don't think we've seen really necessarily the best of him in this game. Newcastle defended so impressively well. I do think this was an extremely hard test, and Tyronne Mings going out and Big Pow coming in, I don't think that was that bad a change, but it was quite clear that Konsa and Torres, it just wasn't all singing, all dancing for the most part. And as the substitutes went on and, the scoreline moved away more and more from Aston Villa, it did feel more and more like a futile exercise in terms of trying to watch what was going on in that sense. But I do feel it was a big injury for Mings, because I did think that he was doing a pretty good job of, leading the defence and standing up to the Newcastle attacks for the most part. And I don't think Pau Torres did necessarily that bad, but listening to the commentators and a few other people that, that does Aston Villa content, Pau Torres, I think the initial idea was have him left centre-back with Mings in here and Konsa, and then, when it's an attack, this whole thing then with Cash as well alongside can just then really explode down one side of the pitch, and you can really guard in and shuffle across in this idea. So I like the idea of that still, but without the left-back cover to support that, with Mings now being injured, I know Diego Carlos featured in the game as well, so it's good to see him return from injury. Aston Villa 100% need to go back into the transfer market. They need another defender, and they definitely need something else to cover this kind of left midfield option in these kind of situations where you want to play McGinn in centre mid and you need to shuffle across and protect the wings a bit better, because Bailey and Diaby, if you're going to then do that, you're then kind of taking away probably the synergy you get between the two of these guys if you split them across the wings. And then you're maybe losing, I think you lose a bit out of what we've seen out of Leon Bailley, certainly. Maybe not as much Diaby, because, you know, he performs really well at Leverkusen anyway, hence the big transfer. But Leon Bailley has struggled recently, so you kind of worry about that. So I definitely think another winger, another centre-back has to be on the menu. And yeah, another striker, because if Watkins isn't firing, you know, what is plan B? Is even this good enough to cover that? You know, play Diego Carlos, Pau Torres and Konsa in that kind of way as well. And, you know, you can still carry on with the same tactics, the same formation. Even Boubacar Kamara has played in defence before. I really like what you get out of him in this Aston Villa midfield, but along with Douglas Luiz, they've got a good kind of little synergy there as a pair. You know, they operate very well together. But I definitely feel, yeah, another winger, another striker and another defender is definitely on the menu for Aston Villa if they're going to reach these expectations that I've got for them. And you've got to think Unai Emery and Monchi, these guys are top-end operators in the transfer market. They've got to have, you know, their ear to the ground and getting some deals done off the back of this result and off the back of these injuries to Buendia and Tyronne Mings. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below on screen. And now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.